Are you thinking about running a half marathon but don't know where to start? Are you feeling overwhelmed by training plans, injuries, the right exercises, or just making it to race day feeling strong? Don't worry, I've got you covered. In this training, I'm breaking down exactly how to train smarter, avoid injuries, and build your endurance that you need to crush your half marathon goal. Our runners have actually been using this blueprint for years to start half marathon training and stick with it so they can improve their health. They can feel better, not only physically, but mentally as well. And I'm an avid half marathoner and have run 34 during my 14-year adult onset running journey. And over the past 5 years, I've created and redefined the number one way to stay healthy while training for a half marathon well into your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. Our coaching services have helped over 400 runners hit their half marathon goals, even if they were a beginner or recovering from an injury. But I've got a disclaimer for you. This half marathon blueprint that I'm going to share with you isn't some magic pill. You actually have to run consistently. You're going to have to stop procrastinating. You're going to have to take the plunge into the deep end of the pool and commit to at least a few hours a week into doing specific runs, exercises, and learning about nutrition in order to conquer your goals to run 13.1 miles. And if you follow this blueprint, which you can also download, by the way, see the link in the show notes, you might be surprised at how quickly you actually enjoy half marathon training and how quickly you can start feeling stronger and running longer. Plus, I'll give you a simple, effective 2-week training plan to get you started and share with you my top 3 mistakes to avoid while half marathon training. So, if you're ready to start your half marathon training strong and stay injury free, let's get started. Section 1 of the blueprint, your half marathon training mindset. Proper mindset is key. And first, I want to actually share a story of a real runner like you who is proof that you can conquer your half marathon goals by sharing Marianne's story, which will provide you some hope that you can actually start training and continue training to actually complete 13.1 miles with proper mindset. Now, Marianne was turning 40. She was a self proclaimed back of the pack runner for the past 10 years, but was struggling with the mental aspect of training, with motivation and consistency to achieve the running goals she really wanted, like running a half marathon personal best. Working with Coach Latoya on our team, Marianne learned so much about proper half marathon training and fueling her body properly. Not only was she without pain during her training for the first time ever in her life, but she cut over 30 minutes off her half marathon PR at her goal race here at the Hartford Half Marathon. So before you start training, you really need to align your mental priorities. You want to answer a few questions. Number one is, why are you starting to train for a half marathon? You got to think about this. The mistake many people make is that they don't strongly connect with their quote unquote why. So when you don't want to wake up when it's still dark outside to go for a run or get in a strength session that will keep you healthy while training, it can be too easy to skip it. You need to do some soul searching and figure out why you really want to conquer 13.1. Is it health reasons because you gained some weight, cholesterol's a little high, the doc was like, hey, you got to start, doing something to lower cholesterol, lower your blood pressure. Maybe you want to get off medication. Maybe you want to do hard things to show up better as a human for your children. Whatever it is, you need to really dig down deep, write down your why. Then you will be reminded to yourself when challenges do pop up, because they will pop up. And if your why isn't strong enough, you will not be successful in starting your half marathon journey. So you need to find that why. Next, I want you to think about, what goals would you like to achieve? You need to define these. You need to be clear. Is it to run your first half marathon? Is it to get a personal best? If so, do you have a realistic time in mind based on your current situation? You need to determine a goal that is clear and realistic given your current fitness level and your work family situation. Therefore, before you even start, you're making a plan. You may have heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, this is essential. This is like the proper mindset and planning is the first step for your half marathon training. And by the way, if this is the first introduction, first off, welcome. I'm Dr. Dwayne Scotty. I'm a running physical therapist, coach, educator, founder of Spark Healthy Runner, creator of the Healthy Runner podcast. And our mission is to help 10,000 motivated and driven people grow in their running journey by challenging themselves, doing what they love, and making an impact in this world through the power of running. So now I am curious, if you're watching the video version of this training, let me know what half marathon you are training for. Drop it in the comments because eventually I would love to run a half marathon in all 50 states. I think that is just amazing. And I'm always looking for good ideas. If you highly recommend one, please let me know. I do read all of my comments and I have a bunch of athletes who are doing this right now. And it is definitely something I would love to be able to do. Also, there is a freebie download to this training that I wanted to let you know about. This is our half marathon training Kickstart kit to start strong and stay injury free. So if you're looking to start training for a half marathon but don't know where to begin, you've come to the right place. And if you've tried to train for a half marathon in the past but had to stop because it was just too hard, it was too painful, you stopped shortly after you started, then you're going to want this resource. It's free. I put it all together for you in this comprehensive beginner runner guide. We'll provide you with the essential tips, tricks, and advice to help you kickstart your half marathon training confidently and stay healthy so you can continue to train for your half marathon without getting injured or burned out. If you've thought, I'm not meant to be a runner, or I'm not fast, or I'm too old to start running half marathons, or I don't have a runner's body, or my knees are not meant to run distances, then this Kickstart kit is for you, right? You can get your free download, and it is the reason why I put this together, because I want you to know that you can do this. You can train for a half marathon and you are able to do it without pain. So just go to learn.sparkhealthyrunner.com/half marathon, or just click the link that I have for you in the show notes. Okay, now let's talk training plans. What to expect with training. You need to start slow and build gradually. Focus on consistency, not perfection. Let's talk about the key components of a half marathon plan. Here's pretty much your weekly breakdown. You got your long run, most important run of the week, your easy runs, possibly cross training, and you have rest days. And the importance of run specific strength training, nutrition, and recovery. Those three components are often forgotten about, but are essential to you being able to conquer your half marathon. So let me just pause here for a second to emphasize the importance of fueling your body and hydrating properly. So my top 4 nutrition running tips for half marathon training is: number 1, eat enough food to support your training. That means watching the quantity of food with each meal and not skipping meals. Number 2, eat plenty of carbs, carbohydrates. Carbs give you spark and energy. Number 3, don't run fasted. Running fasted does not burn fat and can actually lead to muscle breakdown. Number 4, recover like a boss. That means carbs plus protein after your runs. Recovery is super duper important. It's a part of the training, and a little bit more about recovery, the sooner you learn that it is part of the training, the better your body's going to be and the better your training is going to be. Stress is stress to the body. Sleep is critical. Days off are necessary. Foam rolling, mobility, and stretching can all help with recovery. I have videos of how to do all of those exercises in the download. So now let's get to section 2 of the blueprint, which is your first 2 weeks of training. And I provide you a sample plan. So I'm going to kind of talk you through it. But like I said, it's in the download where you can actually see the calendar. So week 1, day 1 would be like a 2-mile run. Day 2, a strength session. Day 3 would be a 2-mile easy run or a cross training session. So depending upon if you're doing a 3-day run plan or a 4-day run plan, some of my beginner half marathoners can actually do a 4-day run plan, and you can do back-to-back run days. Don't be scared of that, by the way. And don't think that your body can't ever tolerate that. That is not true. That is a myth. So those would be running, and those that might want to start with a 3-day plan, then you can do cross training such as a bike, a swim, an elliptical on this day. So then day 4 would be a strength session. Day 5 would be a 2-mile easy run plus core work in the core. Day 6 would be a long run. And on this first week, it'd be like a 3-mile run. Day 7 would be rest and recovery. Because like I said, it's part of the training. So that'd be week 1 of our sample plan. And this would be 2 weeks prior to starting a 12-week half marathon training cycle. Let's get to week 2. So looking at the overview here, day 1 would look like a 2.5-mile easy run. Day 2 would be a strength session. So same as week 1. Day 3 would be a 2-mile easy run or cross training. So bike, swim, elliptical. Day 4 would be a strength session. Day 5 would be a 2-mile easy run plus a little bit of core. Day 6 is your long run. Now we've advanced to 4 miles. And day 7 is your rest and recovery. So some tips here for sticking to the plan. Consistency is key, and it's okay to adjust the plan as needed. So adjustments, modifications to life, family, work, all of that, life happens, right? You need to adjust the plan to accommodate. So that sample 2-week plan that I just gave you, again, in the download, I have a full calendar showing you exactly how much, when to actually do the runs. The goal is that we're gradually increasing your weekly mileage, allowing your body to adapt to the demands of running and training for a half marathon. So now let's get into section 3 of the blueprint, and that is strength for runners. You need to build a resilient body for half marathon training. So why does strength training matter? Number 1, it's going to prevent injuries. Number 2, it's going to improve your endurance. And number 3, it's going to boost your speed. Now, I have a quick 25-minute strength routine that you can be doing twice a week. And this is going to be very helpful. And I'm going to talk to you about the specific exercise in this routine. That's going to be helpful for building the strength in your muscles. But then we also need to warm up before you actually go out for your runs. So you don't just go out the door and start running, especially if you're like me in your 40s, like, especially if you do it in the morning, right? First thing you get up in the morning, our bodies, let's be honest, a little stiff, a little creaky, right? You're feeling a little tight. Takes a little while to get the joints moving, the blood flow going. So you need to start with a warm up. So foam rolling can be super helpful. 5 minutes of dynamic stretches. And again, I have specific how-to videos of how to do foam rolling for runners, how to do a 5-minute dynamic warm-up before you actually start your runs. So let's talk about the top 7 exercises that you can do to build strength as you start your half marathon training journey. First exercise is going to be the fire hydrant with the mini band. And I actually break down in the blueprint for your download exactly how many sets, how many reps of all these. And then I have a full run through video of me talking you through these exercises. So that exercise, we like to hold for 15, 20 seconds to activate the glute max and the glute muscles. And you do this for 2 sets, 1 rep per leg to just kind of turn that muscle on. And then clamshells with the mini bands, the second exercise. I like to do 2 sets of 12 reps per leg for that one. Third exercise is what I like to call the humbler, because it looks easy, but it's going to humble you. Trust me. You're going to lift your leg against the wall. I like to do 2 sets of 12 repetitions of this exercise. And then the next exercise is the elevated single leg bridge. This is going to really build strength, resilience in your hamstrings. And I like to do 2 sets of 6 reps per leg. And then we need to activate your deep foot muscles, which is going to be super protective for your feet, for plantar fasciitis, preventing it, Achilles pain, posterior tibial tendon pain. So we need to activate those deep foot muscles. And you'll do a couple of different series of activation exercises. And then calf raises with a ball squeeze. So you kind of put a ball like a lacrosse ball between your heels. I like to use my Noboso ball, of course, between my heels to activate your calf muscles with your ankle stabilizers and your deep foot muscles. And you can do 12 repetitions of this for 3 sets. And then lastly, the exercise that really hits the quads, and I want you to use a sturdy surface for this, is the front step up exercise, performing 12 repetitions for 3 sets. And then a good cool down is always nice. So if you're doing some foam rolling or you want to do some stretching, specific muscles for you to stretch during half marathon training. A couple key ones is the hip flexors, especially if you have a desk job and you're sitting a lot, or you have a really long commute, you're driving a lot in the car, or you're just traveling a lot in your car for your job. The hip flexors can get really short and tight, especially if you're introducing half marathon training. The quad muscles, the front of the thigh, and then the calf muscles. Those are the 3 most important muscle groups for you to actually spend your time stretching. Don't worry about stretching your hamstrings. When you're running, you go nowhere near the end range of your hamstring muscle length at all. So stretching your hamstrings can feel good. And if you have time, do it, but it's not going to improve your running, and it's certainly not going to prevent injuries. It's not going to prevent your hamstring from getting injured. It's not going to prevent hamstring tendonitis, tendinopathy issues. Strengthening is going to be the magic bullet for that. So now I want to know, what half marathon question do you have for me? Like, what have you struggled with in the past while half marathon training? Or what do you want to know more about while training for a half marathon? If you can please leave that in the comments below, because I would love to create future content specifically for what you're going through, my Healthy Runner community. And again, I do read all of my comments. So I would greatly appreciate if you can let me know, and I would love to be able to help you out. Next, I'm going to share with you how to stay healthy and motivated during half marathon training. And I want to share with you my 3 common mistakes half marathoners make during training. But before I do that, if you're getting value from this training right now and you're enjoying these tips and how you can conquer your half marathon goals and start your training strong and injury free, I'd greatly appreciate if you would just hit that like button so I can continue creating free content like this, so you can maintain a strong mind, a strong body, and just keep running. I greatly appreciate that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I take a lot of time to put into creating this for you. So let's get into section 4 of the blueprint, which is how to stay healthy and motivated, with some kind of injury prevention tips. Is number 1, you need to listen to your body. You need to adjust the mileage and take structured 30-second walk breaks every 2 minutes if you feel like you need it. Maybe you feel a little pain. No shame in walking. Okay. There is no shame whatsoever. It doesn't make you any less of a runner. Okay. If you're putting one foot out in front of the other, you are a runner. And using a walk run strategy, even for your whole half marathon, is a great strategy if you are truly starting out as a novice and a beginner. It will allow your body to adapt to the demands of running. So I have a lot more respect for someone who utilizes a run walk strategy as opposed to someone who goes out there and just says to themselves, I heard that I should be able to run less than a 10-minute pace for my half marathon. And that's what I'm going to do in training. Because that person who hasn't trained for a half marathon, unfortunately, is going to wind up getting injured, or they're going to get burnt out. And they're probably not even going to get to the race, or they're going to complete the race, but the journey sucks so much for them, they're going to stop running after that. I'm all about lifelong injury-free running, and I want you to be able to run for longevity. So I would much rather you actually utilize a walk-run method versus letting ego get in the way. The other tip that I have for you is investing in proper running shoes. We need the right shoes. It doesn't, and I don't want to say like the right shoes, meaning you need the shoe, because shoes are always changing and they are getting better with time, which is a great thing. But you need running shoes. So, done different trainings on running shoes. I'm not going to go there for this, but we need running shoes. You just can't use like casual shoes or even let's say basketball shoes to actually run distances. And then you need to stay hydrated and fuel properly before running. I know I mentioned kind of that before, but it is often missed. And you need to avoid doing more mileage or running over a 5 out of 10 effort level, no matter how good you feel during a run. So, the other thing that I wanted to share with you is mindset matters. So make sure that you take time to celebrate small wins. For example, like completing your first long run, like celebrate the heck out of that. Even if you're starting with the 2 week plan that I mentioned and it's 3 miles. And if that's your first 3 mile run, celebrate the heck out of it, right? Because that's going to keep you motivated and you're going to see progress. And when you get small wins and you start to see progress, you're going to continue because you've built confidence. And with confidence comes consistent effort. And that will keep you going along your half marathon journey. And then the other thing that I wanted to recommend to you is track your progress. Use a journal or an app to log your runs. Jot down how you're feeling. Jot down ways that maybe you can improve. If you realize that you didn't take enough water with you for your long run, then you need to write that down. So next week's long run, you actually remember to take more water, or remember to do a route where you can actually stop and refill your water, right? So you need to kind of reflect on how the training is going, what you're feeling, and that's how you improve. And that's how we improve in our running journey and in life, quite frankly. So now I want to share with you 3 common mistakes that half marathoners make. Number 1, not warming up before your runs. So you need to move your joints. I mentioned this before. You need to get the blood flow going into your muscles and get loose before you start running. Number 2, thinking running should feel 10 out of 10 hard. As you begin your running, you should be shooting for no more than a 5 out of 10 effort in order to allow your body to properly adapt to the demands of running. And if you go too hard, too fast, that's when you will get injured or you're going to get burnt out and you're not going to stick with it. And again, I want you to succeed. And number 3 is not adding in strength training. Running is not strengthening your muscles, but you need to strength train in order to allow your body to adapt to the demands of running consistently. The great thing about both forms of exercise is that they are both phenomenal for your mind and your body. So you got to strength train with your running. So to recap for you guys, the 4 steps to start your half marathon training. In section 1, we talked about your half marathon training mindset, determining the why, writing down your goals, right? Clear, realistic. Section 2, we talked about your first 2 weeks of training and I talked you through the sample plan. Section 3, we talked about strength for runners, building that strong, resilient body. And section 4, we talked about how to stay healthy and motivated. Don't forget to get your download of your free How to Start Half Marathon Training Kickstart Kit ebook that contains bonus video content with specific actionable exercises of what I talked about today on how to start training so you can stick with it. Get your download using the link that I have for you connected to this training, or just go to learn.sparkhealthyrunner.com to get your download. So now you might be thinking or wondering, I'm too old to start training for a half marathon, or I don't have a runner's body. I'm not meant to be a half marathon runner. When you complete these first 2 weeks of half marathon training and utilize these key strategies during your training, you'll not only get stronger, run longer, but feel more confident and healthier as a human. Like, I think of runners in our program like Marissa. Marissa thought that she had to end her time as a runner due to posterior tibial tendon pain because every time she took a break from running to allow it to heal, it would just come back when she tried to run. So she followed my Return to Run resource, which you can actually download at learn.sparkhealthyrunner.com if you're currently not running because of an injury and you want to get back into running. But that's an aside. And then she actually joined our team half marathon program now that she was running again. And Marissa was skeptical because she could run pain free. She was skeptical that she could even run pain free because everything she read online was like doom and gloom for this posterior tibial tendon injury because she had a flat foot. However, with implementing the progressive exercises and starting out with the exercises I share with you today in our program, with Coach Latoya's feedback on her running and motivation when she felt tired toward the peak of her training, Marissa was ready for race day and she ran strong with joy and 100% pain free. And as she put it, it felt amazing to tell certain muscles, hello, glutes, to turn on and feel them during the work for her. And she had talked about her experience in working in our team Healthy Runner program that she highly recommends the training, whether you have an injury or not. You will learn how to effectively strengthen your whole body, your feet, your legs, your core, your upper body for the work of running, and you will be a better, stronger, healthier runner for the work that you put in. Because remember, before I said you actually have to do the work. We can't do that for you. Or I think of someone like Nancy, who also signed up for our team half marathon coaching program because she was in a funk with her running. She had an injured hip, and the personalized training plan and strength workouts helped her tremendously, as well as the tips and motivation provided by Coach Latoya for her runs and workouts. The race strategy advice and tips that Coach Latoya provided on their call before Nancy's run, she was able to hit her race goals and, more importantly, run the half marathon feeling strong and pain-free. Then there is a runner in our community who I think about is Katie, who started running after college, but before kids. And since becoming a mom 7 years ago, she was struggling to figure out how to train properly because she didn't have time to do the research. She was busy being a mom, and she didn't have the time to figure out what plan would be best for her. She was doing the Galloway run, walk, run method and had completed several half marathons, but wasn't sure how to approach strength training to help her running and keep her healthy. So Katie got guidance from Coach Whitney on our team to provide her clarity on what she needed to focus on, which was extremely helpful since Katie was actually displaced from her home due to a hurricane, unfortunately. And she got stronger and was able to actually still conquer, despite all the challenges that she went through, still conquer the Disney half marathon. And if you're struggling with an injury, I will tell you that you can still conquer your half marathon, because I have personally worked with hundreds of runners as a running physical therapist and coach, like Tiffany, who was actually a PT herself and loved running 5Ks and 10K distances in her teens and 20s, but had not run for over 20 years. At age 45, she was excited to return to running with the ultimate goal of running her first half marathon. She tried gradually increasing the miles on her own, but repeatedly struggled with various aches and pains, with the most significant being a very painful case of Achilles tendinopathy. It was so severe, it was like an 8 out of 10 pain. She had to actually cancel a 10-mile race she was signed up for and was unable to walk because she was like literally limping. Luckily, Tiffany found the podcast and really wanted to get back her mental clearing miles, but was nervous about if her body would be able to like respond given the level of pain she was in, how badly she wanted to run. And while working together, her symptoms gradually improved, as did her running. And Tiffany not only was able to complete her first half marathon feeling strong, happy, and Achilles pain free, but she finished in a time that far exceeded her wildest expectations. Or I think of runners like Miranda. Miranda is a 44-year-old pediatrician who rediscovered running in her 40s, kind of similar to Tiffany, after a 20 plus year hiatus, which, was a mental lifesaver for her, especially being a busy mom. Working during the pandemic as a pediatrician, she was struggling with like reoccurring patellofemoral pain syndrome that she ignored at times with running, but was consistently exacerbated by activities like skiing or playing tennis and interfered with her running. And when we connected, she hadn't run in 3 months due to pain. She wound up like Googling podcasts for knee pain, found the Healthy Runner podcast, luckily. And it's actually pretty ironic because she literally lives in the town next to me here in Connecticut. And when we met, I was able to assess her strengths, weaknesses, provided her with a strength plan that helped get her back on her feet, running consistently again. And she especially loved the accountability to keep her on track with the run plan and really finally embracing slowing down during her easy runs. And by the end of the 16-week program, she was able to run a half marathon injury free and even got a personal best for a half marathon distance. Since then, Miranda has continued to like grow in her running journey. She gets guidance today from Coach Lou on our team, and she's pain free, growing in her journey, hitting half marathon PRs like they're going out of style, literally for over a year now, and then recently conquered her first marathon at CIM out in California, and actually got a Boston qualifying time with the new standards and a 5-minute buffer. So she's like doing amazing things since she's been pain free and really been able to like grow in her running journey. And the reason I share Miranda's story is I want you to have hope, guys, that you can be a newer runner like Miranda was, coming back to it in her 40s, even if you have an injury like she had, some knee pain. But you can grow in your running journey, whatever half marathon goal you have, whether it's to run your first, PR your half marathon, or like in Miranda's case, like run healthy and crush like multiple half marathons, and even, conquer a marathon. It can be done with the tips that we talked about today. And if I can just share one more, I know there's a lot here, but I also think about Laura, who was also in her 40s. She was 44. She stayed at home mom, started running 6 months prior. So she was a real newbie runner in order to lose some weight. She was 4 weeks away from her very first half marathon and was in so much knee pain because she was overtraining. And she reached out to me for guidance on how she can get to the start line and run this half marathon, but more importantly, was able to run for many years to come. And while working together, Laura really learned to run more efficiently. She gained knowledge on specific strength exercises to get her body stronger so she can run pain-free, not only for half marathon, but continue lifelong injury-free running. And I hope these stories do inspire you that you can conquer 13.1. These are just 6 examples from like hundreds and hundreds of runners who have implemented the Spark method of strengthening your body for running, because we need to strength train in order to run. Guys, remember, my name is Dr. Dwayne Scotty, and my mission is to save the lives of runners everywhere by allowing them to enjoy lifelong, injury-free running. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this. I'm the founder of Spark Healthy Runner, and I just love seeing runners conquer their half marathon goals. And today, you took the first step to half marathon success. Training for a half marathon starts with a solid foundation, and these first 2 weeks are your springboard for success. So stick with the plan, take care of your body, and trust the process. You're on your way to crossing that finish line feeling strong. You can do this. You've got the plan. Now let's take it to the next level. So now you've started strong with the half marathon training Kickstart kit. But honestly, why stop there? Imagine having a complete step by step roadmap tailored to your goals with expert guidance to keep you injury free and the accountability of a supportive community of runners just like you and I. With Healthy Runner half marathon training program, you'll follow a proven, easy to stick to plan for running your best race yet. You'll stay injury free with expert guidance from myself as your running PT and coach on strength and recovery exercises. You'll build confidence as you tackle long runs and crush your race day goals. You will get personalized support you need from our Healthy Runner coaching team to stay motivated and consistent, because consistency, remember, is key. Your journey to a strong, healthy, and confident half marathon finish starts here. So I'm inviting you to join Healthy Runner half marathon training today so you can spring forward into half marathon shape. Enrollment for our once a year program opens next week, and it's only open for 7 days because we've got to start training, right? These spring half marathons are coming fast and furious. So you can learn more using the link. And if you're listening to this before we actually open enrollment, then hop on the wait list so you're notified when it goes live, because spots are limited to the first 25 dedicated runners looking to conquer a half marathon feeling strong this spring. Take the next step toward your goal because you deserve it. You deserve to train smarter, feel stronger, and cross that finish line proud so you can continue enjoying lifelong injury free running. It's really been great sharing this half marathon training blueprint with you today. As you can see, I love the half marathon distance. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next video to help you get stronger, run faster, and enjoy lifelong injury free running. This training was all about kickstarting your half marathon training on the right foot with a balanced approach. As I mentioned, strength training is a huge part of that strategy. Now, learn how to master my top 7 strength exercises for runners, all within this 25-minute workout video that I have for you next.